It has been a weird week, so again, no content from me. Or more accurately, I should say last week was a very weird week. Today is Monday, it is 8 o'clock. For whatever reason, I just did not get out here very much last week, so I couldn't get the project done. It seemed that every day something new and random would pop up. And even when I did get out here, there were things in the workshop that were setting me back. I discovered my dust collector, the bag underneath the collection bag, was just spewing forth dust, which is the really fine dust because I have a separator. So I spent a couple of hours trying to plug up all the leaks, and it's the bag itself, well, it's the clip itself. So the best solution I've found is to use magnets to hold the bag up, hold it in position, tape the bag properly, put deliberate pleats or folds in it, tape over that, then use the clamp, then tape over that all again. That seems to be working, but I've not spent much time out here since. The whole dust collector situation needs to change. It's mostly orientation and putting it all together so that there's less flex hose involved. I'm losing quite a bit of airflow, I believe, from the use of flex hose in like the main section of it. You're supposed to have 6 times the diameter coming out of it, uninterrupted straight line. So for me, that's 100 mil out, 4 inch. So I should have 600 mil, and I've got 0 basically because it goes straight to flex hose before it goes to the trunk. Once I get to the having the whole thing in a fixed location, specifically the, I'll show you. So this is the problem here, just here. Because this part of the cyclone needs to go up and down to get the bucket out, that needs to be on a flex hose, and there's a few other variables and all that. What I want to do is put this on sort of a cart where it's held up by this ring here. Which will then mean I can use a rigid hose there, rigid hose to the impeller, and this hose here to the filter and separator section can also be turned into rigid if I turn the whole impeller around. Of course, that's another distraction, another project on the never-ending list, so I'll get to that. Well, I can't move that at the moment. It's sort of been bubbling away at a bit recently, but with the broken rib, which is getting there, or probably at 80%, 90%. I'm just not really keen on lifting heavy stuff because I can still feel it pulling. Anyway, that's been bubbling away. I'll probably get to it this summer, which is rapidly approaching. I did get to veneering now. I'm doing this a little bit out of order for the week. I did get to veneering. The other pump arrived. I don't know where I've put that. Doesn't matter. I had the Raw Rocket veneer bag and they sent the wrong pump, just the smaller one doesn't evacuate as much air. So that arrived, that's all good. I did a second test. I used a platen that I made up out of melamine. So this is just a small piece of melamine. I rounded over all the edges with a 1/8 inch round over bit, put some grooves in it. You put your workpiece on top of that, the grooves let the air be pulled out from underneath, and that worked excellently. The bag seals really well. The seal on it's a bit fiddly, but I ended up leaving it for, I think it was 3 days in the end because I forgot about it and couldn't get out here, and it was still perfect. The seal had no issues. So I didn't get to making the vise. It was my intention. I think I'll do that next week. I'm not going to kill myself trying to get projects done when I'll do a better job of the project, better job of the video, and also not die by just doing it at the right pace. However, I did work on a jig for it. So I'm still making downs at the router table, but with these 2 little squares like this, it is not the safest. It's a little bit dicey. I really don't like doing that. So the jig that I came up with, or at least the test jig for it, I guess, is this, where you clamp that in. Then there's enough room for 2 push blocks on the other side of the fence, and you run it across. Downside is that the bit needs to come out the thickness of the base, which in this case is 6mm MDF, but that's fine. That's not too high. The other downside is the length. This is a very fixed length. So I didn't do any video on making this, so I'm thinking that I might actually do a video during the week. I can probably knock that off tomorrow. Today is a little bit busy, unfortunately. That uses a bit of T-track to give me a level of adjustment. I've only got these 2 pieces of T-track left. So something like that. A fixed jaw and a sliding jaw, stop block. If we say this is the sliding one, I'll use that'll have like a little foot that slides underneath the main fence, and that'll give me somewhere to clamp down onto, as well as security from twisting up and all of that. So this works exceptionally well. I should have grabbed some footage for it, but the results on the dowel are perfect. So I was aiming for a 250mm total dowel. That lets me thread 200mm of it, or 150mm of it, and 50mm of that can go into the hub. The Moxon vise that I made up is 300mm total. So that includes the handle, the hub. 50mm insertion into a hub with a dab of epoxy or wood glue or whatever, even just friction. It's never coming loose. So more than happy with that sort of length. So total, I think this is like a 345 dowel. It's whatever I had on hand. Yeah, 345, and I built the jig around that. So 50mm extra on either side, or just about, results in the dowel size I need. Almost get 260 out of it, so quite a efficient use of the material. So that's, yeah, really quite exciting. It probably shouldn't be as exciting as it is, but I was really thrilled with how that came out, because the whole dowel making process got even easier, quicker and safer. It no longer gives me the heebie-jeebies.